Hey guys, and thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Let Your Shit Out with Jon and
Cyn. It's hot as shit.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Let Your Shit Out. This is the first episode of 2021. We have life and laughter coach Pasha Marlowe. I'm excited to have her on today. Hi, Pasha.
Hi, Cindy.
So I do have one or two things to talk about before we get into what you're doing right now. So the coronavirus has already taken another event from us this year. In January, No Pants subway ride has been canceled.
Dang.
What is your, Cindy? Well, Cindy just does no pants car rides, no pants anytime. Like right now, I'm not going to ask her to angle down.
So
I've not had pants on since January 3rd when I got home from the Keys and got COVID.
Pasha, have you heard of the no pants subway ride before?
No, I didn't know that was a thing. So it doesn't hurt me to know it's canceled, but it doesn't make much sense that it's canceled because unless we're exchanging fluids around each other without pants, I don't understand why that's a higher risk.
It's lower risk right now, I would have to say, because they've been cleaning the subways now more than they ever have ever. So this might be the only time to go pantless on a subway. I'm just saying. Ew.
In what city? In New York? This was canceled?
Yeah, in New York. It started in New York, I think, in 2002, but it's gone all over the world, apparently. And
I'm in Maine. We don't even have taxi covered. We have no taxis. We got no buses. There's no trains, no subways. I don't even have a traffic light in my town. I'm not shitting you.
What town are
oh my
you
God.
in?
I'm in North Yarmouth, and there is no traffic light. No traffic light.
How far up are you? You north of Portland?
I'm north of Portland, only by like 20 minutes. I mean, Portland's awesome and very progressive, but just outside of it is rural.
I know. I spent every summer in college in Fort Fairfield, Maine.
I don't even know where that is, so it's got to be way up there.
You go potato field, moose. I'm in Canada.
Yeah, I don't go there. I don't go up there.
Literally, his backyard was Canada.
I know you guys have noticed that some people have lost their smell and taste buds and all that stuff whenever they're infected with coronavirus. There was this girl I was reading about, and she decided to call her favorite Thai restaurant place and order the spiciest meal that she can and eat it. And she couldn't taste anything, nothing.
Oh, she'll
but
feel
feeling it. Her shit hurt later.
Well, I mean, so the next day she said that she didn't go into detail, but she said that she was doing the CDC guidelines of cleaning the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's called letting your shit out. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but listen, her handle is called Stinky Cat Toes.
What?
Yeah.
Stinky cat toes?
No, Stinky Cat Toes.
Ow. The beauty is
Yeah. So she said that she couldn't feel the numbness and the physical pain of it, but she decided to finish her meal, and she had a marijuana edible as well with it.
I want to be in the bathroom when that kicks in. And
right?
at the same time be like, because you know everything low, so it's like a 4-hour shit.
Yeah, I was wondering what the CDC guidelines were for after taking a Thai shit, you know?
That's funny as hell.
I was watching your YouTube things earlier with the Rupture to Rapture, and I found it really compelling. I listened to a woman's testimonial of stand-up comedy helping her from Vancouver and going through her process of sexual abuse, and then the guy that was there at the show relating to her and how it really does heal, finding this pain that can turn into something that we take our power back, is how you had said it before, right?
Yeah, I feel through comedy, we can take our power back because we can reframe our stories. We can tell stories that were traumatic and just tell them through the lens of humor and start to make even our abusers the butt of our jokes if we want. We could do that. And so a lot of times in my program, I'll ask the participants to find the story that is the most emotionally charged, the one that holds them back, the one that's stuck in their body, the one that's causing a lot of rupture, and then see if you can find within that trauma and heartache around the edges some absurdity. It doesn't even have to be blatantly funny, but it could be the timing or the irony of it was just a little ridiculous, and then it turns into funny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know that you went through some things with your son, which is how you found this. So you didn't start laughing until you said 49, right? And then you guys started going to the doctor's offices and things and just laughing and finding the humor in the hospital. And you had to actually like tone it down a little because when the doctors came in, they were like, you don't feel as bad.
Yeah, because you know when you go to the doctor and you're like trying to people pleasing, trying to be polite, or like he asks or she asks, how are you doing? You say, fine, but then you don't really go into it, but really you just want to cry and burst out. Well, we were laughing because we were trying to find some levity and humor. And so the doctors would come in and see us both giggling and laughing and hugging on each other. When we realized that they weren't taking us seriously enough, we had to tone it back. Yeah. And make sure that we were, adequately crying and looking very sad and troubled so that they would hear us, that we were still suffering and choosing to laugh. And it was very hard for them to understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it took you a lot to get there, right? Like you said, you tried everything. Like you went to every 300 doctor visits and counseling. Yeah. So you said, I think it was in a car ride with your son. You said, why don't we try humor, right?
Yeah.
And is this where this program had spawned from? Is where you started to take this in? And
yeah, I mean, I think like most revelations were, at this moment of like this aha moment is often in the times that we least expect it. But I was driving my son to Boston Children's Hospital. It was something like our 300th doctor appointment. We were praying that this would be the one that would cure him, solve him, figure it out. And it was so scary and sad that we started to try to figure out how we can move through it. And when we were at the hospital after hours and hours, and they still gave us no hope for him, we fell apart first. And then we started to, on the drive back, say how bad that appointment was. Like how bad they were to not offer us a sliver of hope. Like who tells an 11-year-old kid that they're going to be in chronic pain for the rest of their life? That's stupid. And so then we're like, how bad is their bedside manner? And like, could they have been messier with the blood draw? Could the medicine have tasted worse? And so we started just to make fun of how bad it was. And that was kind of our gateway into creating more comedy and humor around it. And then we started to play with words. And then we started to, actively access comedy shows and stand-up comedy routines, which is tricky with a kid because none of them are clean. But we tried. We did our best.
Oh, wow. Even Tig Notaro, you mentioned her on there, but she's even hard to. Yeah,
I love Tig. Tig helped me because she went into this place of heartache and rupture after her cancer diagnosis. She did comedy right away. And so there's many, many famous comedians who have done this. And Hannah Gadsby's another one of my favorite who has this very famous Netflix special, Nanette, and then another one about called Douglas. So one is about her sexuality and past trauma, and then one is about her autism and bullying. And so they're really deep and they're talking about dark things, but it's more relatable and easier to digest and receive the information when it's within a little bit of comedy. So it's a lot easier to handle emotionally the stories from my past that I used to tell that would exhaust me to talk about, or I'd be tired the whole next day after going to a therapy session. Now I'm not making light of them. I'm just laughing about them. And so I'm able to survive them and thrive through them. And then I'm teaching my kid and now my clients how to do that.
And then everything that you've been going through, you've now decided to write a book, correct?
Well, I think something happens when, I don't know if either of you are parents. I can't think of myself anything worse than imagining my child being in so much pain that he wanted to take his own life, which is where we were. And so there's something very fierce that came out of me. And after 49 years, I started to swear. I could do this, let your shit out pockets. I couldn't have done this 2 years ago. I started to realize that I wasn't living my fullest expression of myself, that really nothing else scared me. Like all of a sudden I wasn't scared of what my parents thought of me or scared of like failing in my business. Like who the fuck cares? Like my kid is sick and dying. And so I realized that I needed to also for myself be very authentic to save my own life. And so I came out as bisexual a year and a half ago. And my book is called My Next Husband Will Be a Lesbian. And it's a culmination of a lot of stories from female identified people all along the LGBTQ spectrum. And
you would just say the rainbow spectrum and just be done.
Could we? I don't know. I'm learning.
Well, I
just rainbow anywhere on the spectrum.
That's cool. I'm fine with that.
I can't let you around my dad because he's always claimed to be a lesbian his whole life. So sorry.
Well, what's funny is like I haven't told anybody. Like I haven't told my family. I haven't told my friends. I'm not out.
You have now.
That's assuming my friends are watching your show, but I know my parents aren't.
I'm gonna tag every one of them.
I just decided that if I'm going to come out, I'm just going to come out big and I'm going to do it through a damn book. I mean, I told my husband because he's in it, but I didn't tell anybody else. So I just thought, I don't know.
It's really important to clue in the husband when you decide, to go both ways. Hey, honey, I might need to tell you this before I'm a published author.
And my next husband is going to be a lesbian. So
yeah. Well, I told him that, and he's like, he was trying to figure out how he fit into that arrangement.
In the middle.
But
did you pick up the vulva and like
my vulva puppet?
It's a vulva in a shit. Which side do you want, hon?
Oh God. Oh, sorry. See, this is where we go.
That's well enough. I got to move on. But yeah,
pillow. I mean, where does one find a vulva pillow?
It's a puppet. It's so I have my friend who's a sex therapist gave it to me so I could use it in my comedy routine because in my last comedy routine at Christmas time I did the Christmas Carol and my past, present, and future vulva came to haunt me in my dreams. And my past vulva was like all shiny and new and innocent and like, loving on herself, but then sexual trauma and judgments and criticisms came about. And my present vulva was like tired and rusty, but my old vulva was like gray and hairy and the clitoris had disappeared and it was, yeah.
Did you like find a Tiny Tim to rescue her?
No, I ended it with I was talking about the 8,000 nerve endings. Like, God bless you, 8,000 nerve endings, each and every one.
And by the way, John, it would be a tiny dick, not a Tiny Tim.
Well, where I was going with that, Cyn. So one of the things whenever I Google "let your shit out," there usually comes up some kind of like prune juice or like way to let defecate.
We have to get above the X-lax. We just have to get above X-lax. We're good.
So I decided when I was Googling you, I put Pasha rupture to rapture, and what came up was get baptized with the Holy Spirit today. No water necessary.
Baptism, no water. It's bad. Water's bad. It will blow up the computer.
That is not that's not a quote of mine. Although, I mean, rupture shows up a lot, I believe, in the Bible. So yeah.
I think that just came up because of that, I believe. But then you were like the second one on there, so that's good.
Oh,
I wasn't even the second.
I'm just below the Bible. That's awesome.
Good thing you're not above the Bible. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm better.
And
I'm not I don't know the terms, being on the top and the bottom. I won't go into it.
Well, see, there's a whole lot of things that happen there, but I say I'm on the top because I live in New York, and Cindy's on the bottom because she's in Florida. So
I think that's what she was talking to, honey. That's not what she was talking about.
I know.
What's a switch? When people talk about being a switch, what is that?
Oh, well, roll over and start again, and roll over and start again. Just think about it for a second. Yeah.
Okay.
Or
I have a lot to learn. Like a lot of people, which is why I wrote the book. I have no evidence to back up my claim, but I don't care. I don't care, and I don't need any. I don't need any, right?
How do you know?
It's just a knowing. It's like completely obvious in my head. I know where my head is. I know what happens in my brain, and I live in a town without a traffic light. I don't have like a bunch of lesbians to play with here. I don't know.
20 minutes south, honey. Right, 20 minutes south. It's like right there. But the reason why I ask you that, funny, yes, but I'm one of my ex-husband was a lesbian.
Oh.
So I was married for technically 18 months, but I was only with him for 6. So
yeah.
The rest was trying to get my dog back, but that's another thing.
Stayed with them to get the dog. A lot of people stay. It's for right now, especially with 2020 and financial unrest and COVID and all that. People are staying because it's expensive to get divorced. They don't have the money for 2 houses. They don't want to. I don't want to share custody with my kid. And especially because he's sick. Like we need all hands on deck. So we're staying together. Right now, we're figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
There's many creative options.
It's cool that you're like. I guess I'm trying to process how. I know what my transformation was about. I know exactly the moment in time, but I also know that I was fully exposed to the community long before that because my sister was gay from birth. She went to college before me and we hung out with all her gay friends. And so I had very deep exposure into the community. I was with them. So I guess that's why I asked, like, if you don't have an exposure to that community and you've never had the experience, like what part of your brain says, whoa.
I was a theater major, so there. I went, so I grew up in the theater and then I went to college for theater. And so I do have a lot, I don't have them here in Maine, unfortunately, but I do have a lot of gay friends. And I've also just always been online associating with people LGBTQ and supporting people and being an ally. And I've run support groups and I've been leading groups for a while. I've just not myself come out. It just needed to happen 1.5 years ago. I don't know. Cool. I don't know why we do the things we do. It took that long. It took 49 years and 2 marriages. My first one was 14 years and now I'm on 14 in my second. And
well, doing better than me.
Well, I do love one of the things that you were talking about with like laughter through tears and then giving yourself like 45 seconds of just straight laughing to get yourself out of like if you're in a funk or in a mood or something. Like it really does change. I was sitting at my in-laws and it was just like the day after, it was like New Year's Day. And I was there and I was watching your video and I was like, let me just try this. So I don't know if they heard me or not. It sounded like a crazy, insane person laughing up in this room, but it was a lot of fun.
Good for you. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. It always transforms my mood when I force the laughter. And in laughter yoga, we just start with a ha, 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 ha. And then it's like, ha, ha, ha. And then we're like, not really wanting to, but it starts to roll off our tongue. And then it's contagious. Then you see somebody else trying to laugh. And before you know it, you're laughing. So.
I like it. Yeah, me and Cindy, but we constantly are laughing. That's what Katie is always like, can you guys cut it down a little? Yeah. Also, I want you to explain to people how to play with yourself more.
Okay.
You gotta get a puppet for this?
First of all, what I mean by you have to play with yourself more is that you gotta have more fun. You don't wait your whole life to figure out what brings you pleasure, to figure out what you like to eat, where do say. And so when I'm sitting there at night, like figuring out my life, I used to, and I'm still an insomniac, but I used to like just sit there with sadness and regret and like, oh, I should have said this, I should have done that, I can't believe that happened to me. I'm just getting really bogged down in this like depression and anxiety cycle. Well, then when I started to access comedy and humor, now all of a sudden, not only do I have that perspective, but then I started thinking about words. And then I think, oh, like that word, like puns. Oh, that word has two meanings. And I'm like, how would it look to have a vulva and a piece of shit puppet meet? Like random things come up, right? That would be weird. How could we make that a comedy routine? And then all of a sudden, even though I'm not sleeping still, which is a problem, I'm playing with myself. I'm having a lot of fun. And I think adults don't play with themselves enough. I think play and fun and laughter and levity, especially now, it almost feels, I've heard people say it's inappropriate. I've heard people say like, really, you're gonna choose this year to find the humor? Like, don't you know all the shit that's going on? And it's very serious. Your kid is sick. The world is falling apart. I'm like, yes. And that's why, because we have to survive this. And somebody has to be light enough and of sane mind enough to do something about it. So I'm just energizing myself so I can continue to serve people and still build people up, other than just drag myself into the hole.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. That's when I started Let Your Shit Out. It was literally just a Facebook page where I was just like saying, I miss being around my family and all this stuff. And then people start putting memes, and it just transformed into a place where you can let stuff out, whether it be you're angry or sad or you're happy. I mean, you can put any kind of thing on there. There's memes from everything on there right now.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's what you kind of like to press forward into people as well, to allow themselves to feel any of these emotions and to experience them.
Yeah, moving through the emotions and embodying emotions is something I do. Moving through the stress cycle, that's called a lot of different things. But if it's not laughter, cry, scream, dance, shake, talk, do something, right? And
throw shit out. You gotta
yeah,
yeah.
Because if you don't, it gets stuck in your body and it comes out as toxins or inflammation or pain or disease and stress. And so we have to move through it. We're still honoring that there's pain. We're still honoring that there's trauma, but we're moving through it. And then hopefully finding something to laugh about so that we can move through it.
Yeah, and then and actually letting that go, like the secrets, like you talked about before, like these secrets that we keep inside of ourselves that we don't just let go. It can manifest in like your throat or in many places in your body and ailments, And then it's so much easier if you like let these toxic secrets in yourself out that really no one's really that caring about. That it's like, we know or we love you. It's not gonna affect or change people. And if it does, you need to reevaluate the people that your circle,
Right. If you're too scared, like people don't write their book until their parents are dead. People don't come out until their kids are in college. Like people wait. Well, if you're waiting for those people to, grow up or die, like find out what's going on in that relationship, maybe try to heal that and speak your radical truths. Like save your own life, right? Save the only life you could save. Yeah. But you're right. Yeah. I find a lot of women have chronic sore throats or tight throats, chronic sore pelvis and tight hip issues. And that's where a lot of our emotion is held. And so when we can release our truths and let go of some of the secrets and the shame that we hold on to, then some of that is minimized for sure.
So now, why don't you tell us a little bit about how to reach you? Is there a YouTube or an Instagram? How would you like people to be able to reach out and ask more questions or get involved with your life coaching and laughing?
Yeah. Well, PashaMarlowe.com is my website, which has links to pretty much everything I do. But I'm on Instagram. This is so easy. I'm on Facebook under Pasha Marlowe. It's a cool name. Nobody else has it. I have Instagram at Pasha Marlowe, Clubhouse at Pasha Marlowe, And so you can find me on all those things. I starting a podcast. It's launching next week called Let Pleasure Be the Measure. It's not only about sex. It's about like accessing all of our pleasure and like having that, creating that space in our lives. So that's starting Let Pleasure Be the Measure podcast on Apple. And then the book, My Next Husband Will Be a Lesbian, I'm hoping that it'll be out on Valentine's Day, because that's when I found out about an affair, just saying, from my husband. And so it's reclaiming that for me. And I think it's kind of ironic and funny. And yeah, I think I went through all the things as to how to find me.
Yeah.
Yes.
We also got a little bit of a rundown on your last relationship of why it was on Valentine's Day you found out he was cheating.
Yeah, I'm still
What was
with
it?
like
Oh, you're still with him? Oh, okay.
Like 3 years later. Yeah, I'm a very forgiving, stubborn person. So I have been trying to work on this for all this time, and we're still married. So yeah.
Well, that's why you said your next husband will be a lesbian to him. That makes sense now. Yeah.
Well, it's not only because of the affair, but it didn't help. And I am finding common threads with all the women I'm speaking with who are in this bisexual space, where they've had some past traumas, they're pretty mad at penises, and then they've been cheated on, and they're just like, I mean, there's another way, and it's good with me. So like, why not try that?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Been cheated on by both men and women, though. That blows that theory straight up.
I know. I'm sure there's affairs within all. I know. I'm sure.
I think the next question would be, are you a cat or a dog person?
I have a cat and a dog, and I so prefer my cat. Does that make me a lesbian?
Not completely, because you still have the dog.
Cat.
I have
dogs.
She still has the dog, so that's the thing. She likes the dog being around.
This is symbolic. I have the dog, but I don't really like him. But I snuggle with my cat.
Cat dogs. Lesbians.
Yeah.
Too.
Gay men have dogs.
I have a dog.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a little Chiweenie, and her name is Princess Leia.
Okay, so here's the deal. Gay men have little tiny dogs. Or straight men trapped in lesbians' bodies. But the softball dykes all have labs.
Yeah.
Or pit bulls. You know, it's like, oh, my dog's bigger than I am, and I'm a real bitch because I got a bitch dog. Yeah, no. Pull your pants up and go tell your mom you need to close your own size.
You know, I have a neighbor who has a lab. Would it be wrong for me to go, you know? Just wondering, because you have a lab. I'm just doing a survey.
You can make a lot of money doing some online survey quiz thing where, like, find out if you're gay by what kind of pet you have. That would, I would get sucked into something like that.
Yeah, and then I mean, like, and if maybe they're hiding the fact that they are gay because they went through a rescue service, but they still kind of picked out what they wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh
there has to be a question in there. All right, so I like to usually end our conversations with finding a post that I like from our Let Your Shit Out page. That's okay. So what I do is I'll read the post, and then you guys can talk about it. Now, this actually what came from my uncle, Doug DeRosset. Hey, Doug. I didn't say anything bad about you. But yes. But I'm trying to get the post. I had it all set up and ready.
Okay,
now,
when you're
of course,
looking
it's
for
not
that, I'm
there.
going to tell you, Pasha, I just Googled it. I said, what's the most common dog lesbians own? German Shepherd Labs.
I have a Cavalier poodle, a little black poodle.
You're a gay man.
I'm a gay man.
Do you drive
also
a Subaru?
You drive a Subaru and you own a German Shepherd. You're gay.
I do not have a Subaru or a truck, but I have 20 times higher testosterone levels than most women, according to my doctor. Isn't that interesting?
That's cool.
Actually, side note, people who hide their sexuality often have chronic illness and pain and hormonal imbalance and all the things. And so I'm just going to figure that my hormones are going to be balanced by February 14th of next month.
Yes. Next month.
All better right now.
All of it. All
gonna-
right. So my uncle Doug DeRosset had posted on Let Your Shit Out, and it says, the Flat Earth Society are reporting that the 6-foot social distancing measures are pushing some of their members over the edge.
The first part, the society.
The Flat Earth Society are reporting that the 6-foot social distancing measures are pushing some of their members over the edge.
Love it.
I'm telling you, John, it's a culling. They're culling. They're culling the stupid people. I'm sorry, the earth is flat. We're dying. You're old, so just go over the edge now.
Keep walking. Just keep walking. Right.
No, Grandpa, keep going. It's right ahead of you. You can't miss it.
On your way down.
My helmet
Don't
cam.
worry. If you see a giant iceberg, iceberg floating,
You need to get a GoPro on their head.
keep going.
You're like, John, we'll get him a GoPro and push him off the edge of the earth because we want to see what's down there. But it's got to be a live feed because it's not going to be live.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because at that point, do they like turn upside down, or do they just like fly out? You know, like I'm not really sure.
Oh, okay. Got time for a story? Quick story. Have you
Okay.
ever gone tandem skydiving? Either of you?
Mm-mm.
All right.
I want to.
I
Were you on
did.
top or were you on the bottom?
You're always on the bottom. Like the shut up. So
Is always on the
true
bottom.
story. I went with the football team as a end of season, blah blah blah. Anyways, so based on how much you weigh is how they decide who they're going to strap your ass to, and it's not weight to weight; it's weight to experience.
Okay.
Okay.
So the bigger you are, the more experienced the tandem guy with you is. So if you're fat, you're really safe, apparently. Tiny. So, but I got this guy. His name was Sven. I'm not making this shit up. From Switzerland, and he was like 6'7". So I don't know if you ever seen how they strap you to the front of him, but you're supposed to be back to chest.
Yeah.
And he was so tall that he had to like get down and squat so they could try to get my harness tight enough where I was, on him. So I decided if I'm going to jump out of a perfectly good airplane, I'm going to have video of this. So I paid the extra money to get the guy to jump with us, and he has a helmet cam on. So he's holding on to these straps, leaning back, waiting for Sven and I to jump, but he's trying to stand up and he can't because I'm so short. My feet were hitting his knees. So finally, like picked me up and he says, "Sven's got you." Carries to the edge and he goes, "We're gonna jump and he's gonna jump at the same time." And he's giving me all the instructions. And all of a sudden, we hit a turbulence and the cameraman fell. He let go of the loops. So rather than missing the shot because God do that, he reached up and grabbed the front of my straps that was holding me to Sven and said, "Oh shit!" To the left here, before falling out of the back end of a perfectly good plane strapped to a very large man, is "oh shit!"
Wow.
So the first 57 seconds, you free fall. And because he did that, he was right in my face because he was holding on to me. They're supposed to jump on their back, film you coming down, but instead he's holding me. My face is right in the camera. So they looped the first 50 seconds of the video that they gave me of me going, "Ah! Ah!" So we get to the part where they're supposed to open the chute. Well, when you're strapped right onto this guy and he weighs 3 times more than you and you're falling, his weight is on you. Like you feel him. Like, I'm safe. This guy's here. I'm good. He let that chute go. And there was so much slack in our lines. I thought I fell off him.
Oh my God.
I'm like, "Oh!" He reaches around. He goes, "Sven got you." So that's like, now every time I'm afraid of something, I'm like, "Sven got you." Like,
I kind of look like I'm frozen right now, but I'm not. It's just I'm listening and like it was one of the things I wanted to do was go skydiving, and I'm getting ready to turn 40 in March, and I wanted that to be like one of the things I did. Just I know, but it was just one of those things on my bucket list of things I want to do is go skydiving, and but now COVID happened and everything, so I don't know how that's really going to work right now or anything. But
you really
to hear
can't
this story,
distance. There's no distancing. You're strapped to the front of
yeah, yeah,
but I will tell you,
especially if the camera guy's in your face.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And seriously, John, you're going to need to know this is the girl that you are. When you're falling and you weigh 100 plus pounds and you've got a 200-pound man on your back and you're falling out of an airplane, you're falling really fast. And when the cameraman looks at you and says, smile, don't. It's going in their mouth and it spits everywhere. And they're like, ah, like they know. They're like, smile. I go, ah! Fills your mouth with air. Your whole face is going everywhere. My eyelids are like way back. It was awesome.
This is why I like to ride roller coasters with my partner Rodney, because he is literally like, there's like the log flume ride in Disney, right? Where it's like it takes you up the ladder and then it stops and it goes around. The whole time we're going up the ladder, he's holding the thing going, ah! Ah! And I'm going like,
It makes us.
I mean, it's hilarious.
That's great.
And then it just flops over
down
and
here.
starts to, go. And then when it starts to go down, it just like goes into like hyper panic mode. And then he laughs hysterically after it's over. But he's just so much fun to ride those with because, yeah. Do you like roller coasters, Pasha? Do you guys like roller coasters or no?
I haven't been on one in a long time, but yeah, they're fun. Definitely. I have no good roller coaster stories though. I'm just trying to figure out why I'm not turned on by the whole Sven hanging on me from behind. And I'm wondering if that's another sign that I'm a lesbian.
Me either though. That's not a sign. That's not a sign. I'm not either. Yeah.
Hey,
no, not the camera guy. The camera guy kind of got me.
That guy. So I was trying to get the tall one.
The guy falling down in front of you yelling, smile. I mean, yeah, it's nice.
That does it for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the giggles.
Well, yeah. And we want to thank you again for coming on Let Your Shit Out, Pasha. It was so great to have you.
Thank you. I had a ton of fun. I would do this more often. So yeah, thank you both.
He went on vacation with us. We took pictures with him everywhere, and we even took pictures with Baby Yoda.
You travel
There
with
we go.
an emoji.
Well, it's a doggy bag, like poop bag thing.
I travel with a vulva.
I mean, well, okay, if we're talking about things to carry, let me go get mine. Hang on.
Oh, this is gonna be a puppet show. We're gonna do a show. oh! I wish. Look, a vagina fart's a queef, right?
So Stan here, he wasn't paying attention to the virus, and I found him outside last week. Yeah, poor Stan.
I'm gonna get a stick for him. He's gonna be our mascot.
And then I'm definitely grabbing him in a weird spot right now.
You're inspired